A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Read by James Burgess. Stave 4. The Last of the Spirits. The phantom approached, in a deep black garment which left nothing of it visible, save one bony hand. "I am in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come," said Scrooge. "You are about to show me shadows of the things that will happen. Is that so, Spirit?" Scrooge's legs trembled beneath him. "Ghost of the future," he exclaimed, "I fear you more than any spectre I have seen, but I know your purpose is to do me good, and I am prepared to bear you company, and do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me?" It gave him no reply. The hand was pointed straight ahead. "Lead on," said Scrooge. "Lead on, the night is precious to me, I know. Lead on, Spirit." The phantom moved away. They were in the heart of the city, among the merchants, who hurried up and down and chinked the money in their pockets, as Scrooge had seen them often. The spirit stopped beside one little knot of businessmen. Pointing to them, Scrooge advanced to listen to their talk. "No," said a great fat man with a monstrous chin. "I don't know much about it. I only know he's dead." "When did he die?" inquired another. "Last night, I believe." What has he done with his money?" "I haven't heard," said the man with the large chin, yawning. "It's likely to be a very cheap funeral, for I don't know of anybody to go to it." "I don't mind going if a lunch is provided," laughed one gentleman. Scrooge knew the men, and looked towards the spirit for an explanation. Scrooge fancied that the unseen eyes were looking at him closely. It made him shudder, and feel very cold. They went into a dirty part of town where the shops and houses reeked of filth and misery. There was a shop where greasy junk was bought. Scrooge and the phantom came into this shop of old Joe's, just as two women and a man carried in bundles, laughing. The man produced his plunder first. A pencil case and a brooch were all. Old Joe added up his prices up on the wall. "I know these things," said Scrooge. "They're just like mine, and they're worth much more than what this man is paying." "Who's next?" said Joe. Mrs. Dilber was next. Sheets and towels, 2 old-fashioned silver teaspoons, a pair of sugar tongs, and a few boots. "I paid 2 shillings 10 for teaspoons just like those," Scrooge objected. "And now undo my bundle, Joe," said the next woman. Joe dragged out a large and heavy roll of some dark stuff, the same fabric and colour as Scrooge's bed curtains. "Bed curtains?" said Joe. "You don't mean to say you took 'em down, rings and all, with him lying there dead?" "Yes, I do," replied the woman. "Why not?" "His blinkets too?" asked Joe. "Who else's?" replied the woman. "And that's the best shirt he had, and a fine one too. They'd have wasted it if I hadn't taken it off him." "What do you call wasting of it?" asked Joe. "Why, putting it on him to be buried in," she laughed. "But I took it off again." Scrooge looked, and a shirt just like his own shirt. He listened in horror. The same woman laughed again when old Joe paid the 3 out. "This is the end of it, you see. He frightened everyone away from him when he was alive, to profit us when he was dead." "Spirit," said Scrooge, shuddering from head to foot, I see the case of this unhappy man might be my own. Merciful heaven, what is this?" He recoiled in terror, for the scene had changed, and now he almost touched a bed, a bare, uncurtained bed, on which, beneath a ragged sheet, there lay the body of this man. He lay in the dark, empty house, with no one to say he was kind in this way or that. "Spirit," Scrooge said, "this is a fearful place. Let us go." The ghost conducted him to poor Bob Cratchit's house, and found the mother of the children seated round the fire. Very quiet. The little Cratchits were as still as statues in one corner, with Peter, who had a book before him. The mother and her daughters were sewing. But they were quiet. The mother laid her work upon the table, and put her hand up to her face. "It must be past your father's time," she said. Peter said, shutting up his book, "I think he's walked a little slower than he used these last few evenings, Mother." At last she said, "He used to walk with Tiny Tim upon his shoulder very fast indeed. But he was very light to carry, and his father loved him so. Oh, here's your father at the door now." She hurried out to meet him. Bob broke down all at once and cried. He couldn't help it. They drew about the fire and talked. Bob told them of the extraordinary kindness of Mr. Scrooge's nephew, whom he had scarcely seen but once. "I'm heartily sorry for it, Mr. Cratchit," he said, "and sorry for your good wife. I'm sure we shall none of us forget poor Tiny Tim, shall we?" "Never, father," cried they all. "Spectre," said Scrooge, "tell me what man that was whom we saw lying dead." The ghost of Christmas yet to come did not answer, but led him straight on until they reached an iron gate. A churchyard. Here, then, the wretched man whose name he had now to learn lay underneath the ground. The spirit stood among the graves and pointed down to one. "Answer me one question," said Scrooge. "Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that may be only?" He followed the finger and read upon the stone of the grave his own name, Ebenezer Scrooge. The finger pointed from the grave to him and back again. "No, spirit, oh no, no!" The finger still pointed. "Spirit," he cried, tightly clutching at his robe, "hear me, I'm not the man I was. Why show me this if I'm past all help?" For the first time the hand appeared to falter. "Good spirit," he pursued, "I will honour Christmas in my heart, and try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future all at once. The spirits of all three shall live within me. I shall not shut out the lessons they teach. Oh, tell me, I may sponge away the writing on this stone." In his agony, he caught the spectre's hand. The phantom stood, and the dress shrunk, collapsed, and dwindled down into a bedpost. Yes, the bedpost was his own. The bed was his own. The room was his own. Best and happiest of all, the time before him was his own, to make amends in. "I will live in the past, the present, and the future," Scrooge repeated, as he scrambled out of bed. "The spirits of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Jacob Marley, heaven at Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, oh Jacob, on my knees." His face was wet with tears. "They're not torn down," cried Scrooge, folding one of his own bed-curtains in his arms. "They're not torn down, rings and all. They're here. I am here. The shadows of the things that would have been may be dispelled. They will be. I know they will." "I don't know what to do," cried Scrooge, laughing and crying in the same breath. "I'm as light as a feather. I'm as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. I'm as giddy as a drunken man. A Merry Christmas to everybody. A Happy New Year to all the world." He had frisked into the sitting-room, and now, standing there, perfectly winded. "There's the door by which the ghost of Jacob Marley entered," cried Scrooge, starting off again, and going round the fireplace. "There's the corner where the ghost of Christmas present sat, with the window where I saw wandering all those spirits. It's right. It's all true. It all happened." Really, for a man who had been out of practice for so many years, it was a splendid laugh, he echoed. "I don't know what day of the month it is," said Scrooge. "I don't know how long I've been among the spirits. I don't know anything. I'm quite a baby." "Never mind. I don't care. I'd rather be a baby." The churches began ringing out the lustiest peals he had ever heard. Clash, clang, hammer, ding, dong, bell. Oh, glorious, glorious. Running to the window, he opened it and put out his hand. No fog, no mist, clear, bright, cold, golden sunlight, heavenly sky, sweet fresh air, merry bells. Oh, glorious, glorious! "You there! What's today?" cried Scrooge, calling downward to a boy in Sunday clothes. "Aye?" returned the boy. "What's today, my fine fellow?" cried Scrooge. "Today?" replied the boy. "Why, it's Christmas Day." "It's Christmas Day," said Scrooge to himself. "I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. They can do anything they like. Of course they can. Of course they can. Hello, my fine fellow." "Hello," returned the boy. "Do you know that poultry shop in the next street at the corner?" Scrooge inquired. "I should hope I did," replied the lad. "An intelligent boy," said Scrooge, "a remarkable boy. Do you know whether they have sold the prize turkey that was hanging up there? Not the little prize turkey, the big one." "What, the one as big as me?" returned the boy. "What a delightful boy," said Scrooge. "Yes, yes." "It's hanging there now," replied the boy. "Is it? Go and buy it." "What?" exclaimed the boy. No, I'm in earnest," said Scrooge. "Go and tell them to bring it here, that I may give them the direction where to take it. Come back with the man, and I'll give you a shilling. Come back with him in less than 5 minutes, and I'll give you half a crown." The boy was off like a shot. "I'll send it to Bob Cratchit's," whispered Scrooge, rubbing his hands and splitting with a laugh. "He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim." He wrote the address somehow, and went downstairs to open the street door, ready for the coming of the poulter's man. As he stood there, awaiting his arrival, the knocker caught his eye. "A charming knocker. I shall love it as long as I live," cried Scrooge, patting it with his hand. "It's a wonderful knocker. Here's the turkey. How are you? Merry Christmas." Oh, it was a turkey. "Why, it's impossible to carry that to Camden Town," said Scrooge. "You must have a cab." The chuckle with which he said this, and the chuckle with which he paid for the turkey, and the chuckle with which he paid for the cab, and the chuckle with which he recompensed the boy, were only to be exceeded by the chuckle with which he sat down breathless in his chair again, and chuckled till he cried. He dressed himself all in his best, and at last got out into the streets. The people were by this time pouring forth, as he had seen them with the ghost of Christmas present, and Scrooge regarded every one with a delighted smile. 3 or 4 good-humoured fellows said, "Good morning, sir. Merry Christmas to you." And Scrooge said often afterwards that of all the happy sounds he had ever heard, those were the happiest in his ears. He had not gone far when, coming on towards him, he beheld the gentleman who had walked into his counting-house the day before. It set a pang across his heart to think how this old gentleman would look upon him when they met, but he knew that the path lay straight before him, and he took it. "My dear sir," said Scrooge, quickening his pace, and taking the old gentleman by both of his hands. "How do you do? I hope you succeeded yesterday. It was very kind of you. A Merry Christmas to you, sir. Allow me to ask your pardon. And will you have the goodness to allow me to give you?" And Scrooge whispered in his ear, "Psst, psst, 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 psst." "Lord bless me!" cried the gentleman, as his breath were taken away. "My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?" "If you please," said Scrooge, "not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favour?" "My dear sir," said the other, shaking his hands with him, "I don't know what to say." "Don't say anything, please," retorted Scrooge. "Will you come and see me?" "I will," cried the old gentleman, and it was clear he meant to do it. "Thank ye," said Scrooge. "I'm much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. Bless you." He went to the church and walked around the streets and watched the people hurrying to and fro, and patted children on the head and found that everything could yield him pleasure. He had never dreamed that anything could give him such happiness. In the afternoon he turned his steps towards his nephew's house. He passed the door a dozen times before he had the courage to go up and knock. but he made a dash and did it. "Is your master at home, my dear?" said Scrooge to the girl. "Yes, sir." "Where is he, my love?" said Scrooge. "He's in the dining room, sir, along with mistress. I'll show you upstairs, if you please." "He knows me," said Scrooge, and with his hand already on his dining room lock. "I'll go in there, my dear." "Fred," said Scrooge. "Why, bless my soul!" cried Fred. "Who's that?" "It's I, your Uncle Scrooge. I've come to dinner. Will you let me in, Fred?" Let him in? It was a mercy he didn't shake his arms off. He was at home in 5 minutes. Nothing could be heartier. Wonderful party, wonderful games, wonderful happiness. But he was early at the office next morning. Oh, he was early there. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming in late. That was the thing he had set his heart upon, and he did it. Yes, he did. The clock struck 9. No Bob. 1:15. No Bob. He was full 18 minutes and a half behind his time. Scrooge sat there with his door wide open, that he might see him when he comes in. His hat was off before he opened the door. He was on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen as if he were trying to overtake 9 o'clock. "Hello," growled Scrooge in his accustomed voice, as near as he could feign it. "What do you mean by coming in here at this time of day?" "I'm very sorry, sir," said Bob. "I'm behind my time." "You are?" repeated Scrooge. "Yes, I think you are. Step this way, sir, if you please." "Oh, it's only once a year, sir," pleaded Bob, appearing from the tank. "It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir." "Now, I'll tell you what, my friend," said Scrooge. "I am not going to stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore," he continued, "therefore, I am about to raise your salary." Bob trembled. He had a momentary idea of knocking Scrooge down, holding him, and calling the people in the street to come and help him. And then he paused. "A Merry Christmas, Bob," said Scrooge, with an earnestness that could not be mistaken, as he clapped Bob on the back. "A merrier Christmas, Bob, my good fellow, that I have given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary, and endeavour to assist your struggling family. And we will discuss your affairs this very afternoon, Bob. Make up the fires, and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit." Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city ever knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the change in him, but he let them laugh. His own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him. He had no further meetings with spirits ever afterwards, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us, and all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone. "Ah," said the little woman. Laughed the same woman. Oh dear. "There's the door by which ghost of Jacob Marley entered," cried